Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to an unboxing of 18 Holes. It's a golf game. I saw this on Kickstarter, thought it looked pretty interesting. I'm not a golfer myself, um, but, I always like to try new games, and there's my appeal to just be something different. It's not like superheroes or things like that. So we're just gonna unbox it and see what we got. Maybe it might be something you're interested in. So I thought it was really cool. It has a modular board, so you have all these different tiles. You set up your different golf courses. We can keep changing them every time. And there's a decent number of tiles in here. And we got some other stuff in the box we'll go through. Alright. So let's look at our rule book and see what we got in here. Just to show us our contents, we have some different course tiles, adjustment tiles, there's some golfers, cards, flags, tokens, some different clubs, and stuff like that. How to set it up. And I haven't read through this, I don't know exactly how to play or anything, so we'll just kind of look through and see what we got. But we of course have course tiles, so you have level difficulties on them. Adjustment tiles, so you can modify your course, cover up hazards, or add more hazards. That's kind of cool. Golfers provide unique special ability. A side reduce the challenge, but B side contains some restrictions. Golf clubs. Each club card has a unique ability or tells you which shot deck to draw from. You'll take only 5 clubs on the course. Once used, do not use it again until you've used all your other clubs. Interesting. And then shot cards. These are cards organized into 5 decks that represent a different distance and directions for each of your shots. Each contain cards that hit the ball left, right, or in some cases, choice of your direction. The flight map on each card helps you pilot the passage of your ball, where the orange hex mark is where your ball lands. And hitting the ball. Okay, so that's how you play them. You have a different club, lets you get picked from different decks, which do different things. And then you have to, like, shoot your ball that many squares, or, hex tiles. So that's pretty interesting. Hole-in-one cards. Different markers. So that's all your stuff set up. Your tee box, your fairway, and your green. Green being the one with the hole in it. And I'm not going to read through every single thing, but we have how you set up the game. Rules seem pretty explanatory. Selecting clubs, determining players, playing rounds, move a hex, play a club card. So, example below, Gustav has ended up drawing 3 shot cards. You must choose one of the top 2 visible cards. So he gets an option on which one he wants to do. Depending on the club, either draw 1 card from one of the shot decks, draw a card from one of 2 shot decks, or draw 2 cards from the shot decks, and then you move your... Okay, interesting. So there's some different stuff in here. Claire finds herself in a position where she cannot reach the green in one stroke. She plays 2 iron and draws a single card from deck number 4. The drawing shot bends towards the left. Her best option is to hit off course and use the shape of the shot to land beyond the water hazard edge in the adjacent green. So it's basically saying, like, she should be trying to stay on the green pathway here, but it's not going to let her, so she can shoot around and then come back. Some stuff for trying different big hits. Bunkers. Sand traps. Bunch of different rules here. Playing from the rough. Probably have different rules for doing that. chipping. Sounds like a cover. I mean, again, I'm not a golfer. I know some golfing stuff, but it sounds like they have a lot of different golfing stuff in there. Like, they cover most of the game. Out of bounds, clubhouse, tee box, trees, water hazards, golfers with abilities. Oh, and it's even kind of neat. The book explains every golfer and all their different abilities. Multiple ways to play, different, versions, match play, chaos golf. Team golf, golf racing, Kelly golf, skings. I don't know what that means. Stableford. Oh, hit my character. Solo chaos golf. There's a solo mode. Stroke play. All right. And then here's just a quick how to play your first game. So, each round of 18 holes is divided into these steps. Selecting clubs. Reset empty hands. Select and reveal clubs. Determine player order. On your turn, complete one action. Move one hex. Play a club. Attempt a big hit. Exit the bunker. Reset your hand. Discard your club. And then reach in the green. Score flags. Score hole-in-one tokens. Move all players to the next hole. And remove any hazards. Seems pretty straightforward. Looks like it could be very interesting. And then maybe all I have to do is like actually set this up, play a game, or maybe like a walkthrough as I play it or something. So here's some courses. This is the course book. So you can probably set this up however you really want, but this explains how to set up the course. So like here's a specific course you can set up. 18-hole course length. Each tile is rated a course number. Just show which tiles go where. And then they have a QR code in case you want to be a digital version of this course sheet. Here's a bunch of course indexes. They give you a bunch of decent ones to start with. Like here's your starter course, play 5 holes. The Glen. I'm sure these are probably referencing very different things. Triangle tees. Well, you get a bunch of different things. The only thing I'm not sure about right now is because they have all holes on there. Is if you play the exact same course every time, it's just each time you have a different hole you have to aim towards. If that's the idea. So like, if I was playing this or this one here for whatever reason, if I start, I'm guessing you must start on the green one. I'm not for sure. I have to really read this. But like some of these have like 3 holes on there, so I'm wondering if like you go for hole 1 and then you have to go to hole 2 and then hole 3 and so on and so forth. If you just play them in order like that. Take the large hex, separate them into 3 stacks according to the tile. Tee, fairway, green. Which is kind of little symbols on there. So like in the bottom corner we have a star for difficulty. And that, the giant glare on there is trying to. So these are course tiles. So I'm guessing the arrow must mean fairway with a little tree on it. Oh, yeah, like this one here has, this is where you start. So this one has your tee, has a little golf tee on it. And then you got hit. And then like this one has the flag for the hole. So that's how you tell those apart. Alright. Alright, yeah, I'm still not 100% sure on how you set this up. Like, I mean, it seems, I'm sure if I read it, it's pretty explanatory. But yeah, I'm not sure how the game is played overall with all the different holes. Because I'm imagining you don't set up for hole 1, hole 2, so on and so forth. Course name designer with course. Okay, course. Arrange the tiles from the course with each tile has a number, A25, which corresponds to the number in the bottom right corner. The red triangle is the orientation of the tile. Okay, so then it turns a different way. The green numbered circle corresponds to each flag number. Which course tiles needed when adjusting and where to place the adjusted tiles. Okay, adjustment tiles is are your hazards and stuff. How much table space. That's actually a cool feature. They actually can see how much it'll show you how much table space it'll take up. That way you can know like how big of a course you need. So I guess it's a 5 course, so I'm guessing you start with this one, and then my assumption, the way I'm understanding this is, you have to play the hole 1, hole 2, hole 3, then hole 4 and 5. Now I kind of, that is the downside to, just setting these up, just opening these up and doing unboxing videos and not like reading everything ahead of time. Playing a round. I'm trying to see once it says. So match plays the normal way. You want this mode. How to win. 1 point for each player to reach the green multiple plays if they reach the green on the same turn. Alright, well, we'll look at the components and stuff, and if you're interested, you'll kind of just see how it is. I'm just not 100% sure how all the rounds and everything work. Like I said, maybe I'll, after I get this all undone and stuff, maybe I'll set up a gameplay video or something after I figure it all out. But let's look at all our different tiles and everything. So you're going to have your ones where you shoot from. You're going to have some hole-in-one tiles. Bunch of different variations. So like even these are the same, but this one has some pieces on there. I mean, you're going to come across a lot of stuff that's very similar. You have flags, you have some trees. And now, these are all different on this side, too. So, like, that's cool. Like, you have a full pond you have to shoot over. Sand trap with, like, a worm in there. That's awesome. I think there's going to be plenty of different tiles. I don't know how many of them will actually repeat. Like, I'm going to guess every tile is going to look different. Like, they might have stuff in the same spots, but I don't think any 2 are going to be the exact same. Or so is that how these are? So like example, like I wonder if this is like if you have all these tiles set up because that's your entire golf course, and that's what this is. So like one hole might be okay. This is 3 tiles away to get to that hole, and then like example could be this one here. This could be 3 tiles away. You have to get to this one where That's hole 1. This here could be like hole 2. This could be hole 3. So that's how it's set up. So you're going to have them all on there. So when you get them all laid out, now that I'm actually looking at it, some of these you're going to have like, you're going to have all 18 holes showing on there at once. You just got to figure out which number is what. Okay, that makes sense. When I was looking at the hex tiles, I was thinking like these are each one of the hexes and not one of the big ones for some reason. But no, that makes sense. And then you have all the little flags for all the different holes, so when you set them up, you can set up all 18 holes so you know which hole is which. I have to relook in the book to see what par, I know what par is, but I mean like why some say no tiles, some say one tile. But yeah, there's lots of interesting little stuff on here. I don't think this is going to be a game that's going to probably have an expansion. Because there's only so much you can do with golf. I could see maybe like a little sandbox. I could see doing like a mini expansion. Like where, here's some new golfers with some different ability. Here's a handful of new tiles. That maybe have like some different hazards or something. But I don't think it probably won't be a game that gets an expansion, so I'm typically a person that buy games. I buy them because I know they're going to have expansions coming out. Oh, there's some little tiny... Well, that's also where then some of these, you can rotate them in a thing where it's like, it's showing it like this direction, but they might have you rotate it this way or rotate it that way. It's just not like you're taking all these tiles and you're laying this one has to line up to this one that way. So it's actually kind of cool. Lots of different stuff in here. Lots of the same. I mean, this is definitely not the flashiest game ever. Ones that go around, some triangle ones. I love this one here. Just a little tiny one there. So I'll have to also figure out in the rules, because some of these, like some of them cards, and I looked at the cards too, like these ones, this is 3 hexes. And the way I was understanding it is it said you always move forward 1 hex, and then you go there. But like obviously it's a 3 shot, so I start off, and I draw a card that says I have to hit it 5 spaces. Oops, pop the tile up. Can I not make that hole? This one here is just blank. That's neat. And then I have little spots there and there so you know where to link it. Like this one just has that, but there's nothing there. But that's where you can add your own tiles in there. 6 of 7 on the front. Yeah, unless that's one thing with the club cards, because it said there's 5 piles, so they might have... I wonder if it's each pile represents maybe how many tiles it goes. So like pile number 1 only goes like one or 2 tiles, you know, and so on and so forth. All right, we're looking at some of our golfers. So we have Dorian here, whose clubs never expire, max 3 clubs. 1 club never expires, may not reset clubs mid-hole. I believe what that means is that, so normally to use a club, you can't use it again, but like, let's say he picks, you know, one of his irons, he can always use that iron every turn if he wants. But it also means that he can't reset his club, so if he runs out of the other 3 clubs he has, he's stuck only using that one, and that was the other side would be, they never expire, but he only has the 3 options instead of the 5 that everyone else would have. So it's kind of interesting. We have Swift, -1 initiative on all shots, loses on tie breaks. or wins on tie breaks. Interesting. Lucky may redraw a shot card once per hole. Discard one club when you do. Like I said, one side is kind of a harder one, one's a little bit easier one. May redraw a shot card once per hand. Must carry over the driver. Must use driver or wood on tees. Must carry the driver. Driver never expires. Swick Rashik. Rashesh. I pronounced that bad. Can use any discarded club, may only carry one club. May borrow a club from another player once per hole. Iron Jane may only carry irons, 4 clubs max, no duplicates. Can only carry irons, select clubs before draft. Bunjil may look at the top card of one deck, keep for the next shot, or return face up. May look at the top card of the deck once per hole. The Shark treats water hazards as roughs and may not carry any wedges, or treats water hazards as roughs. Alright, then we have some other cards. We have like a chip card. So it's like you have a thing for a hazard here if you're in the sand trap. Or you can hit either direction, it looks like. Skipping over a tile. I'm assuming that's what all that means. I would have to... So here's all our different chip cards. So you have different things. So have to hit it that direction. Hit that one out. Yeah, the different cards. You only hit them. Looks like chips are only one shot away. Because a chip is to kill the sand traps. I would imagine. You can use these for other shots as well, but I'm not sure. Then Super Hit. Discard this card. Draw a new card from deck 3. So we have deck 5, deck 4, deck 3, and some from deck 2. Let's separate these out quick. I'm guessing the rest of deck 2 is probably in the other stack of cards. So deck 5 is going to get me stuff. Looks like it's going to get me 5 spaces. So that's how you figure out what you want to do. And I'm assuming you're going to get a lot of these that are fairly the same. Longest drive moves 6 hexes in a straight line. And then there's 5 straight forward and then off to one side. Short. Discard this card, draw a new card from deck 4. And then here's one that goes 5 straight forward and 5 straight forward. So if that's the assumption, number 4 should only go 4 spaces. Couple that direction. Oh. You can have a short card, which lets you draw one from deck 3. And a couple that go, there's more that go forward, and then that's kind of a neat one that goes either direction. And a Super Hit, instead you have to draw from deck 5. I like the, just from playing golf games, I played them before. I'm not an avid golfer, but I played golf games before. I like the idea there's a Super Hit and a short one, just like, oh, I messed up. And I have to take something I maybe didn't want. So there's your 3s. Another short goes from deck 2 instead, and there should be a long one in here, I would imagine. Super Hit, you hit it too hard. And then the 2s will be... So far I just got those 2. Let's see what else we got. Got one more deck. Yeah, there's the rest of our 2s. Plink, plink, plink. So a shuffle. Now, you can't obviously, you can do a super hit on hole 2, but you obviously can't hit it any shorter. Yeah, it says 2, 3, 4, 5, and then chip. And that's how you determine how you have to figure it out. But it's also going to depend on what club you have. So I guess that's going to also make a difference. Because if you only have a club, if you're like getting close, but you only have your club that does long range, you're going to be in trouble. So here are your different clubs. These are just going to say 18 holes on the back. I don't remember what some of these do, but yeah, so being a 2-iron, you have to draw from 4 or 5. Draw and play 1 card from either of the decks. So the thing is, if you're really close and you only have your 2-iron, you're going to way overshoot probably. We have a hybrid, no penalty when hitting from the rough. But you have to do a 4. 3-iron, you do from 4, but you get to pick which one you want. So you might have a left or a right or a straight. We have the 3-wood, which lets you move 4 hexes in any direction, or move 3 when starting on the rough. Okay, that's neat, because like some of these are cards, and then these ones are actually tiles. So then you actually just get to pick whatever you want to do. That's actually fun. 4-iron. Oop. A 5 hybrid. 3-iron. A 5 wood. So irons tend to be a little bit more powerful, but wood lets you give you more options, is what it seems like. The 6-iron. There's a 2 and a 3. 7-iron, you get a 3 or a chip, which that's some good options. 8 hybrid gives you a 2. Another 2, 8-iron. Now some of these have A's and they have different numbers in the bottom. So I'm not sure what all those mean. Like this one has a D, this one has a +3. I'm gonna guess the +3 means if you're playing with more than 3 players. I'm not sure. I just probably looked it up in the book. They probably say 1. 8 wood, a 1 and a 2. 2 and a chip with the 9-iron. The driver, you get to go, which is your main club for starting off. So you get your 5s. They only be used in the tee box. Lob wedge, you do not declare direction before playing a lob wedge. Pitching wedge, and a sand wedge. Treat bunkers as rough. And then there's a bunch more that are for solo play. So if you want to play by yourself, get some scoring cards. Would have to look up what all of these do, because I'm not sure what these are all for. But there's those. I'm not going to get digging too deep on those. Let me look at the rules again quick. Those are for Solo Chaos Golf. Use this deck to organize the flow of the Solo Chaos Golf to adjust the difficulties. Have 2 different symbols. Single colored circles represent turn only the player's scores, and 2-tone where both you and your automated opponent scores. Okay, so it's something with that. We have a breakdown on the cards. We do. So they have the drafting. Players will have to draft for clubs until they have 5 each. Shuffle the club cards. If playing solo 2 players, remove the club to show +3 or +5. So that's what that meant. That's kind of what I figured for that. And then down here, determining player order. Okay, so that's what that number in the top corner means. Look at the clubs below. The hybrid 8 has an initiative of 5. That player takes their turn first. Next player has 6. So it's also an interesting fact. It's not just whatever card maybe is the best one to play or gets you where you want to go. It's also going to determine who gets to go first, and you score more points if you hit first. So the 5-wood is arguably better because you just choose which tiles you go versus having to draw a card. So you're going to go last. Whereas the 8 hybrid, where you only get the one deck, gets to go first, but they're kind of stuck with what they get. So that kind of makes it interesting. I don't think they had... And then on the top up in those corners, because I was also curious what that meant. Not every club allows you to attempt a big hit. For example, clubs that already draw from shot deck 5, in the top corner have a symbol that indicates whether you can use a big hit. The driver has no big hit, while the 9 iron shows you can. If your club allows you to draw from a shot deck 3 or 4, you can draw 2 cards. Then you can draw 2 cards from shot deck number 5. You may not draw 2 cards from short. Okay. So if you want to do a big hit, you could opt to not do your 3 and 4 and just do 5. Your club allows you to draw 2 cards, and you must draw 2. If your club card allows you to draw 2 cards, then you must draw 3 cards. In the case the other players will discard. Okay. Here we go. Sometimes you need more distance. You can hit your club further than the option displayed. To do so on your turn, announce to the group that you're performing a big hit. You now draw 1 more card than usual, and all cards must be from 1 deck higher than the highest numbered deck. Okay, so like you were doing a my camera froze. So yeah, so if you had 3 or 4, you'd have to do from 5. And you'd have to draw 2 cards, but if your card down there, number 4, said you already had to draw 2, you'd have to draw 3. After drawing cards, hand them to the player to your left. They discard 1 of the shot cards, and you choose the one to play. So that's actually kind of interesting, because that means, like, you can choose to, play something a lot bigger if you need to go a lot farther, but your opponent kind of just to pick what you get to do. Interesting. Yeah, so now I've looked at the cards. There's a lot more interesting effects and things in here. So the last couple of things we want to look at is we get a bunch of little standees for our flags. And probably the trees. They gave us a ton of bags to sort everything out and all the different little tiles and stuff, because there's all the little circle ones. And then we get some, and I'm not going to pull these guys out. Let me see if I can zoom up on them. We can get them to focus. So we get little gopher meeples. Which, I mean, really, they could have put like a circle or anything, but yeah, it kind of makes you a little neat extra thing. And then on the outside of the case here has all your different gophers. A little bit of backstory on each character. So that's kind of cool. Definitely not anything that was needed. I like how everyone's from a different country except for apparently Dorian. No one knows where Dorian came from. He's like the only probably, I don't know, we got this American. Alright, then silica packet we don't need. Yeah, then you slot all your different stuff in there. So, the one other thing just to point out with this is, because I did mention it in the Kickstarter afterwards, is that the cards don't fit in here sleeved. So if you do sleeve your cards, if you want to, which I think most, non just casual gamers, do sleeve their cards. They said you can sleeve them and put them in here, and you should be able to have one deck here, and then you could put a little baggie of some of the small stuff in there to help keep them from sliding around. And then put all your other components in the baggies here, so they might be a little crammed in there versus floating in here. But that's one way to do it, and then like I said, once all the books and everything are on there, it should hold it all in place. So if you do sleeve your cards, that's one thing. They did in the video for the Kickstarter, they mentioned the creator mentioned that he had rubber banded his cards, and I don't know if he just rubber banded them to hold them together, or if so like the top cards don't slide, or if he just had rubber banded cards when he stuck them in there. So just a thought. So if you are going to sleeve them, because they are going to be a little bit thicker and they're going to stick up a little bit higher, they might still slide around the box a bit. Yeah, I guess it just depends on. I mean, you're going to be shuffling these quite a bit, so if you play it often, you want to sleeve them. It's just a forewarning for you. All right, so that's 18 holes. I know I didn't do the best job describing it, but I hope that if you like a golf game, this might be something interesting to come out. Like, we just got it on Kickstarter, so it should be hitting retail within the next, little bit, month or two. Usually a little bit behind. But with everything going on, they could hit the shelves in a week. I have no idea. Alright, that's what we got. See you guys later. Bye.